the last video, we learned to set up Python with VS Code, but sometimes it might be difficult to install external software on the computer. In that case, we can still practice Python using an online IDE. Just for a change, I will be using an online IDE for this video, but you can run everything in VS Code as well. Links are in the description. First, we'll go to repl.it, click on Start Coding, and select Python. Now click on Create REPL. As you can see, it's quite similar to the VS Code. On the far left hand side, we have files which we can show or hide. Then we have the main editor where we can write our code. On top, we have the run button, and on the right hand side, we have the terminal where we can see our output. Now, coming to the programming part, there are two components in that statement: print, which is a function, and hello, which is an argument. When Python executes this statement, it will call the function print with hello passed as an argument. So that print function knows what to print. You can pass more arguments if you want. Don't get confused by the complexities. I will explain the detailed working in later videos. For now, you can assume print is a built-in function that can be used to print values on the screen. This will print hello and then word, separated by space in between. This is one of the ways you can print multiple things in the same line. We can also put more statements. They will be executed by the Python interpreter line by line. Now let's try to write a short story. This will print multiple lines in the output. Now let's say we want to change our character's name in the story. To do that, you need to change in both the places. This will be tedious if the story is longer. To make it simpler, we can use variables. Variables can hold values for us, and we can use them to get the value whenever we want. The print function can also print the value of variables. As you can see, it prints whatever the value is stored by the variable. We could also have written our hello world program like this. Now let's rewrite the story using variables. We can initialize a variable character with the value Iron Man, and we need to change in all of the places where we are using the character's name. In this case, we have to make changes in two places. Now, when we rerun that, it will print the story with Iron Man as the main character. The equal to is called the assignment operator. This statement is telling Python to hold the Iron Man value in the variable character. Now we can do the same with color as well. Notice the double quotes around the text we want to print. In Python, there are many types of data that a variable can hold. This double quote is telling Python that it is a text type data, which is called str, short for a string. Now we can quickly create new story whenever we want. We will now talk about some basic data types in Python, which are integer type known as int, real type known as float, text type known as str, and boolean type known as bool, which can either be true or false. An integer type variable can be assigned like this. X is now holding an int value which is 12. A real number type variable can be assigned like this. We can also use exponent notation to assign large values. Now holding 6.6 into 10 to the power minus 11. We already knows about string. A Boolean type variable can be assigned like this. X is now holding a bool type of data that is true. If you are not sure which type of value a variable is holding, then you can use the type function. It returns a value containing type of an object. In Python, everything is an object. That is why it is showing that it's an object of class int. Similarly, we can print the type of any variable we want. We can also reuse the variable if we want. It will reassign the value and the value can be of different type. Some function return value when they are called, like this type function. It is returning a value which is given to the print function. You can also save the returned value to use it later by assigning it to some variable. Instead of directly printing it, we will first store it and then print it later. With this newfound knowledge, let's investigate what print function returns. First, it prints the given value as usual. Then it prints none and shows the type none type. None in Python represents a lack of value. In this case, the value doesn't exist, which means the print function doesn't return any useful value. Now let's move on to the calculation part. As we know, arithmetic operators are used to perform common mathematical operations. There are 7 types of operation that you can perform on numbers in Python: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus or remainder, exponentiation or power, and floor division. You can perform these directly on numbers. Or variable containing numbers. Or a combination of them. Now let's try to use multiple operators at once in a single expression. Remember the gravitational force formula that you have studied in the school? Let's take that as an example to code it in Python. Now let's try to add two numbers, but one of them will be a text type. It failed, showing an error that operator plus cannot be used with str alongside int, which means we need to convert it to int. The process of converting the value of one type to another is called type conversion. Python offers two types of type conversions, explicit and implicit. In explicit type conversion, user specifies how and what to convert. In this example, we are manually casting str data type 3 to int data type, which will be same as assigning a equals 3. In implicit type conversion, Python automatically converts one data type to another data type. In this example, it will promote 1 from int to float and then perform addition. So, a will also become float as well. We can observe this behavior using the type function. Int plus int will be an int. Int plus float will automatically be promoted to float. Now we will try to convert str to an int explicitly. This will fail because 34AA is not a valid number. This will also fail because 3.4 is not a valid integer. This will pass as -34 is a valid integer. We can also convert to float. For very big and very small numbers, print will use exponent notation. But for normal range values, it will stick to the decimal notation. We can also convert a Boolean value to an int. Python converts false as 0 and true as 1, which is similar to C and C++. Python also promotes bool type to int implicitly, which means automatically. Let's assume you have a friend in the USA and he told you that today the temperature is 54 degrees Fahrenheit, but you are used to the Celsius scale. So we need to convert the temperature. Now we want to do some improvements. First, we want to get rid of the decimal values. And we want to print some readable text. Let's use what we have learned so far in this lecture. Thanks for watching. To know more about Python, stay connected.